We just came back from CreepyCon, and lots of people keep asking me, what's the difference between CreepyCon and Midsummer Scream? What's the difference? One's massive and one's more intimate. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what's the difference between Midsummer Scream and CreepyCon and which horror convention might be right for you. Let's jump into it. Welcome to Villains of Horror, your safe haven for all things spooky, horror related, horror attraction, horror movie, even horror AI. If you like spooky stuff, stick around for the channel. I think you're going to find something here that you're going to like. But in today's video, we want to talk about CreepyCon and Midsummer Scream. What's the difference? There's lots of differences, but there is a lot of similarities. So if you can only go to one convention in the Southern California area and you're picking between these two, I want to leave you with some good advice and kind of get you prepped for what to know. So the first thing that you're going to notice is the size difference in crowd. Midsummer Scream is hosted generally at the Long Beach Convention Center. So it's a massive venue and it is very big. When I say big, it is very big when it comes down to crowd and people getting in. Multiple days on like the busy days when you come in the morning, expect to wait in line for a really long time before you even get in. There's heavy traffic. The panels are pretty much packed, which isn't a bad thing because a lot of people want to go and see the different panels and things like that, which I'll get to that in a second. But panels are usually going to be packed. There's going to be a lot of heavy traffic, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. CreepyCon still has a pretty big draw as well, but if I had to choose one that had probably more, Midsummer Scream definitely has more people. If you love big energy and you feel like you're at the center of horror season, Midsummer wins. I would say CreepyCon is less overwhelming and a more personal vibe. It's easier to move around. It's easier to go to places. It's easier to see everything. You can pretty much do it in a day, I would say. If you wanted to take one day and see everything, you pretty much could, unless you're going to be waiting in line to get autographs from every single person there. That might take you some time. But overall, there still is a good amount of people that go to both of these events. Now, when it comes down to vendors and shopping, they both shine here. So if you want to get some horror merch, these are the events to go to. One thing to note is I did notice that there is an overlap in some of the vendors at both of the events. Midsummer Scream does have a larger floor, I would say, so there is more vendors that can literally fit in there, and there are just some like different vendors when you go there. When you're trying to go shopping on some of those prime times, expect there to be a lot of people there. But once again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I personally like that feeling because it feels like you're in the middle of the action. Everything's going on. You're hustling, you're bustling, you're trying to look at different things that you want to buy. You're trying to make sure that you get what you want before other people buy it. So it really is like a big energy feel. And I just want to give you guys kind of a glimpse of some of the stuff that I bought from CreepyCon. If I can remember the name, I will put it down below. But these bird boxes or these bird houses are great. I got this one from CreepyCon Lite, and this one was just from CreepyCon, the vendor there. So it really is nice that you get to kind of see the same vendors. They kind of come back year over year, which is really cool. So you kind of actually build like a more personal connection with some of the vendors. If you want to like talk to them, you know, it feels like you can actually talk to them a bit more at something like a CreepyCon. So that is a nice little feature there. Now the big difference is the immersiveness and all the haunted attractions. So with Midsummer Scream, I would say it really is the kickoff of the haunt season, even though it is literally in the middle of the summer, but it really is kind of the kickoff to everything, gets everything amped up, everything kind of like pushing you towards like, yeah, haunt season is coming. There is more things to do, I would say, at Midsummer Scream, just because it is bigger. A lot of the, you know, bigger name brands, they all go there. So everything from Dark Harbor, Horror Nights, Magic Mountain, and how can I forget, Not Scary Farm, they're all there. But even other bigger named things like Warner Brothers, they brought The Conjuring there, and they did like it was like an interactive experience where like demons would like chase you. You had to like hide and people would come out and try to find you. So like things like that are at Midsummer Scream. You have to wait in line to like do it and go to the panels, which I'll talk about that in a second, but there is more stuff to do at Midsummer Scream, if that makes more sense. And that's why I think it really is a true media event. It's a media event that more people can go to, but like all the press conferences and things like that, they go over a lot of different things there. That's what you should expect at something like a Midsummer Scream. CreepyCon still does have its own stuff, but it's not as big as Midsummer Scream, which once again, I'm gonna tell you the truth, sometimes that's a great feeling to have though too, just because when you're at Midsummer Scream, waiting in line to get into any of the panels, you have to wait a very long time, and that takes up a lot of your time that you could be shopping or looking at other stuff. You're just literally waiting in line for like 2 hours. Something at CreepyCon, you can take your time, go in, look at all the vendors, get actual food, sit down and actually eat. Have a spot to eat and not have to worry about missing something major. To me, it feels more grassroots, and that's not a detraction from it. I think that's a benefit. Midsummer Scream feels like the kickoff to spooky season, while CreepyCon feels like a horror community gathering. Now, which event should you go to? I think it honestly just depends. If you're a hardcore haunt fan and you want announcements, panels, and large builds, Midsummer Scream is probably the event for you. If you love horror culture, shopping, and a more relaxed experience, CreepyCon might actually be perfect. Me personally, I love both events, and I even love LA HorrorCon. Last time we went to that was really small, but hey, I plan on going back again. So now I'm curious, which one do you guys like more? Do you like CreepyCon or do you like Midsummer Scream more? Let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know if there's any other horror events that we should be going to this year. But speaking of horror events, if you haven't seen my video when I was talking about if Sinister was a haunted attraction, what would it look like? Check this video out, and also check out the short that I did for that as well, using some AI. Real interesting stuff. We'll see you guys over there.